Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is If Loving You Is Wrong, Season 3, Episode 7, and the name of this episode is The Wages of Sin. Now, the episode opens where we left off, where Brad has confessed that, he did it. And, of course, Stevens is elated because he's looking for a conviction, so he's thinking he got it. But Brad flips it, and it's like, I did it to some children in Iraq, but I didn't hurt Alex's baby. And then, while he's also interrogating, while the interrogation is going on, he also mentions, Stevens mentions to Brad that, Alex is missing, and Brad is like, is she? He's like, well, no, but she's obviously going to find the baby and also going to find Randall, and Stevens really pissed me off in this scene because it's like he will go through any lengths necessary to get a conviction. And Brad, after a while, realized that look, you're not going to listen to anything I'm telling you. I've told you time and time again, I don't know where they are. I have nothing to do with what happened to Randall and the baby, but yet you're still going to keep going and going until you get what you want, and you're not going to let up. So Brad just finally said that, look, I'm not talking to you anymore. I want my lawyer. And he's like, you really want to do that? He's like, look, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to tell that camera up there, I'm not saying anything else without my lawyer. So I was like, thank you, God, Brad. Because Stevens was really pissing me off, because Stevens was just really playing off of the relationship between Alex and Randall, about the baby, and was just playing off the fact that he was about to sue Brad, that Randall was about to sue Brad. He was playing off of the things that have happened, but he's looking at a needle in the haystack. I mean, Stevens is completely green, but Stevens wants a conviction, and he'll go through great lengths to get it. So we're kind of seeing that Stevens definitely is somewhat corrupt himself. Because after he comes out of the interrogation room with Brad, after Brad asks for a lawyer, he sends Rick, who's one of the fellow officers there, to go in the room and stand with Brad and don't say anything, hoping that Brad is going to talk to him and that Brad will reveal some incriminating information. So I'm like, see, dude, you'll do anything to get a conviction, and that right there just shows how much of a grimy-ass cop he is. So, yeah, you got Eddie doing his shit, but then Stevens is definitely doing some cruddy shit himself. So, we really see that whole precinct is just corrupt, top down. Yeah, so that was the end of that scene. Next, we actually have Esperanza, Marcy, and Kelly are still at Alex's house. Esperanza had called the precinct, and they let her know that Brad had just asked for a lawyer, because she asked about, the whereabouts of Brad in the interrogation. Immediately, Kelly's like, well, if he didn't do anything, then why is he asking for a lawyer? Really, Kelly? Really, Kelly? He's asking for a lawyer to represent him, so therefore his side can be told. Because in an interrogation, it's you against them, and since they are working with the system can railroad you and get you to confess to something that you didn't do. And if you're not wise enough to have a lawyer there to represent you, you could be literally going down for a crime that you didn't commit, stupid bitch. Oh, she just blows me. And then, but Esperanza is saying that no, it's a good thing he's asking for a lawyer, because therefore he can actually tell his side. Because when it comes down to interrogation, They want a conviction, and they have someone in front of them. They're going to do everything they can to get one. So in a way, Esperanza knows how corrupt that precinct is. So it's a good thing that he asked for a lawyer, so therefore they won't be able to railroad him and get him convicted of something he didn't do. But then while they're having this conversation, Marcy reveals something. She reveals the fact that that she actually believes that Brad is innocent. That when he talked to her when she was in the bathroom crying, there was a certain tone in his voice that let her know that he didn't do this. And then she also admits that she is in love with Brad as well as Randall. So she confesses that she's in love with both of them. So it's like she's kind of torn between two men. And then she's pretty much, still emotionally distraught, because all of this stuff has happened, and she's like, I wish I can go back and just go to a place where this has not happened. I can't take this anymore. It's like the two of them had just caused so much hell, and I just want the hell to end. And Kelly actually brings up something, probably the only smart thing she said, is the fact that, it's definitely in this episode, was that, the wages of sin is death. And that it's not always a physical death, but the death of anything good. Because of what Randall and Alex have done, by them planting that seed of sin, has done nothing but bring bad to everyone around them. Because now Brad is being interrogated. Natalie and Lucien are at the hospital because Joey got shot. I mean, even though it has nothing to do with them, but just kind of giving an idea of, the wages of sin, that everyone that encompass the both of them, everybody is being affected negatively in some way. And I thought that was very profound, just that, there's bad all over the place, and Alex and Randall are the root of both of it, are the root of it, So I thought that was rather interesting. So Esperanza actually tells Marcy that she's going to go back to the police and get more information about what's going on with Brad, because Marcy is showing that she does have feelings for Brad and she's concerned, and that she doesn't want Brad to go down for something, and then she feels that she feels that if she pretty much feels guilty that because she did that, she may have gotten Brad caught up in that he may go down for something that he may not have done. So Esperanza says she's going to go to the precinct and find out more. But when she goes outside, Kelly follows her, and she reveals to her that, I think Brad is innocent also. But then again, you have to think, who would want to do something, to Randall and that baby? Who hates this situation just as much as Marcy does? And it just dawned on him, it just dawned on Esperanza, Alex's father. And they know that Alex's father is a bigoted racist, and the fact that Randall was parading the fact that he knocked up his daughter, and then due to the fact that Alex was due in court the next day, that she went through great lengths to stop that, meaning she called her father to handle Randall. Now the baby, on the other hand, was just an innocent bystander. Somewhat. Well, actually not really innocent, because he's attached to both of them, but because of that attachment, the baby was also brought into play. And she's trying to get Kelly to see this, but Kelly doesn't want to believe it. Kelly can't fathom it. And she's saying that, look, think about it. Alex said that she went out in the backyard and then the baby was stolen. what the hell is she doing in the backyard at that time of night? What the hell could be going on in the backyard? So Esperanza's kind of drawn it in her mind that Alex is the reason why all this is happening. She called her father. Her father came in, but then Kelly was like, well, she said Brad. She's like, no, she said the man next door. What man was she talking about? So it could be Rusty. But so therefore they have that conversation, and then the next thing you know, we see Esperanza and Eddie. It's like her and Eddie just have this back and forth, and Esperanza gets on my nerves. I mean, at this moment, I was kind of feeling her because she was spot on the fact that Alex's parents were behind this whole thing, and that Brad is actually innocent. But it's just that when Eddie says the shit, the crazy shit to her, and they go back and forth, she's always like, you're an asshole, you know that? You're an idiot, you know that? You know what? You disgust me, you know that? You're so messed up, you know that? Like, dude, girl, he knows he's a creep. He knows he's a piece of shit. And he doesn't care. Like, you tend to forget this is the man you had a baby with. You should know the type of person he is. But for some odd reason, she still thinks there's some level of humanity in Eddie. Eddie does not care. So when she also brings up, that she has a feeling that Alex's parents may have something to do with what happened, and that Brad is actually innocent. And I remember she also brought it up to Kelly. She was saying, "Oh, you have to tell the police. You have to tell the police." She's like, "Well, I'm not sure. I need to have my I's and my T's. I need my I's dotted and my T's crossed before I can actually take this to the police. Because if I do this, Alex could be charged as an accomplice to this because she set this up. So I need to know that I need to get more information before I actually go to the police." So here it is. She goes to Eddie to give Eddie this information. Eddie's like, well, and she asked the question like, well, how do you get to Alex's parents' house? She's like, oh yeah, you just go down to Hillbilly Lane and go all the way down to Hicksville 91. Like, I was like, Eddie's an asshole. But it was funny. And he was like, well, shit, how the hell I know how to get to Alex's parents' house? Shoot, I don't have a GPS for hoes. He was just talking cuckoo shit about Alex. But then, it got to the point where Esperanza's like, okay, I'm not getting nowhere with your ass. Fuck you. And she goes back to talk to Kelly. And then her and Kelly are going back and forth. And then Eddie is just kind of like shouting remarks back at Esperanza's like, there you go again. And she's like, shut up. And then, eventually, Kelly jumped in. She's like, would you just stop it? And he's like, and then eventually, Kelly and Eddie start going back and forth. And it gets to the point where she's like, look, Eddie, Kelly is not scared of you. But he's like, yeah, but it seems to me you scare off every man that comes into your life. I mean, hell, you even scared off the next door neighbor. He went back to Utah. Now, how is it that a woman like you is so damn scary that you sent a black man to Utah? I was like, you asshole! I was like, Eddie gotta fucking go, man. Eddie was just doing the most. And eventually, she leaves. And next we actually see that Alex got picked up by the hitchhiker in the truck. He drops her off, and we see that Alex walks off. So Alex is now out of the truck, but she's literally in the middle of nowhere. So we know she's heading to her parents' house. Next we see Pete's in the hospital. He's, trying to get out of the bed, and he's trying to, talk to the FBI agent that's sitting outside his door. But the nurse is like, you need to sit back. You still have a bullet in your chest. You still you know, you still need to recuperate, and like you still need to recuperate, and you know, you're not in position to move. Like you need to either calm down, or I will have to restrain you. And you don't want me to get the doctor because the doctor's not as nice as me. So the nurse is really trying to get Pete to calm down, but we know why Pete can't calm down, because Pete is starting to have some recollection about what happened to him. And he is afraid that they're going to come back and retaliate. So while he lays back or whatever, because I think she gave him a sedative, he starts to, you know, think back to the actual shooting. He remembers the gang of guys shooting at him, but then he also remembers him calling out to Ben, and Ben literally standing there not doing absolutely nothing. So immediately when he comes to, he gets the phone and he calls Lucien. Him and Lucien have a conversation, and he literally confesses to him, you know, the fact that I know who shot me. It was a gang of guys, and Ben did nothing. Ben did not help me. Ben literally stood there while these guys shot me up. And then Lucien actually asks him about the tape that was at the convenience store. What was on that tape? He's like, oh yeah, it was Eddie. He shot off Ben's hand. And he said that do you have a copy of this? Did you make copies? Like, well, yeah, I gave one copy to Natalie, and the other one I gave to the captain. And then it was like a little after that, the captain sent me to the south side, and that's where I got shot. So Lucien is putting all of this together, and we can see it in Lucien's face. Lucien is really blown away. That, yeah, he made the connection that Eddie shot Ben. He knew, he got the tape, and because he shared the tape with the captain, and since we all know now that the captain is corrupt, the captain had him shot. So now Lucien now has this on his mind. Next so pretty much he said that he's going to be there to check on him, but then, you know, Ben is adamant, but Pete is adamant that he's not safe, but Lucien is telling him that, look, you're going to be fine, I'll check up on you later, there's a guy out there who's FBI, he's legit, he's there to monitor your room, and you're going to be okay. And so we actually know that Lucien was the one who actually had him moved to FBI detail, where he's being watched by FBI, so therefore Eddie or no one can get to him. Alright, so after that, we actually see Lucien and Natalie. They're pretty much sitting there still waiting to hear about, you know, Joey's status. They finally talk to the doctor. The doctor gives them bad news that he has a 12% chance of living, that his ribs were ruptured, you know, he's having a lot of internal bleeding, and, you know, there's a strong chance that he's not going to make it. So pretty much she's pretty much keeping her composure because, you know, Lucien gave her a sedative, but she's, you know, you can tell she's definitely distraught to hear this news that Joey could possibly die, and that it's pretty much a roll of the dice if he makes it through the night. But then the doctor starts asking about, you know, if the worst happens, will she be willing to donate his organs, because he was young and he was in good condition. We have people on the list who need organs, who, you know, was looking for a donor, and, you know, would you be willing to donate his organs? And she says that, how many people are on your list? And she said, like, well, it's about like 12 people on the list that we have here, whatever. And she says, is any people on them list black? And he was like, well, I don't know. She's like, well, you need to find that out. And she's like, well, and then like Lucien is like, well, calm down, Kelly. I mean, calm down, Natalie. You know, it's a good thing that if if you know, but she said we're not going to speak that he's going to die. We're not saying that. But if it does, he should donate his organs to someone, because you know there's so many people that have lost their lives, you know, that they needed someone to donate some organs, and they didn't have a donor. So it's good that his organs could save someone else's life if, you know, he's not able to make it. But of course, right now, Natalie's not really trying to hear this. But yeah, but it's just kind of messed up. Like, damn, Joey, you know. But he at least went out trying. I mean, he's not dead yet, so I'm not gonna speak that. You know, I really hope that Joey does make it. But I know it's gonna be a long road to recovery if he does, because as far as what the doctor said, I mean, he was messed up pretty bad in that shooting. And but yeah, but they said that, look, he said he has a 12% chance. So, but they said, who knows, maybe there may be a miracle and he may get better. Well, only time will tell. It gets to the point where Pete is so adamant that he has to get up and do something, and he wants to talk to the FBI agent, but the nurse keeps intervening, and she actually gives him a sedative and shoots it into his IV, and he's like, I'm not going to sleep. And she's like, oh yes you are. And then all of a sudden he buzzes the nurse, and he's like, I'm not asleep. Oh my, he was having me rolling on that scene. He was just tripping. And then next thing you know, the sedative is working, and he begins to you can definitely tell that the medicine started to work, and he's starting to pass out. And then the nurse is letting him know, like, look, you're gonna go to sleep, so you should get some rest. He's like, no, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't go to sleep. But then, next thing you know, while his vision is starting to get blurry, tell me why the fuck Eddie walks into the room. How the fuck did Eddie pass an FBI detail to get to Pete's room? How the fuck did that happen? Hopefully next week we'll find this out, and hopefully Pete doesn't die, because I really want Pete to live, because I actually like Pete. But then again, Pete put himself into a situation that's far deep. So, and he's already done told Lucien everything. So, little does Eddie know that, yeah, you may kill Pete, but FBI knows everything now. And even as of now, Pete doesn't even know that Lucien is FBI. Actually, nobody knows but Natalie and Claudia, but Claudia's gone. Next, you know, we actually see Randall still in the box. We hear the baby still crying. He's panicking. And next thing you know, we didn't hear the baby crying anymore. And I really hope they didn't do nothing to that baby. But then they actually see them, like, you know, picking up the box and then dropping it down. You know, so they're really torturing the hell out of Randall. Then next thing you know, Randall beats on the box so hard that he gets out. But then as soon as he gets out, one of the boys knocks him back down. And that's where it ended. So, I can actually say this episode was good. It was definitely better than last week's episode, because last week's episode was, you know, it was a filler episode, but it was really dragging. This episode gave me a lot, and I'm so here for it. So, subscribe to my channel, like this video, share this video, leave comments, and I will be back with you guys next week. For another episode of And Loving You Is Wrong. So until then, guys, take care.